MMA debut on March 26th. We have Richie Lewis. Richie, how's it going today?
It's going good. Just enjoying a little coffee in the Sunshine State, you know.
Awesome, man. Awesome. How has the training camp been for this fight?
It's been good. It's been fun. We talk a lot about training camps, you know, and fight game, but for me, it's kind of been more of a development camp and just getting used to the transition. I've been training for like 4 or 5 years MMA on and off, but this was the first time I really put four to 6 months in consistent and got my real whereabouts in the sport, I think, and that's why I decided to make my debut now.
Awesome, man. And you're making your pro debut. I don't believe you have any amateur fights. Is there a reason why you're jumping the gun on pro competition so early?
I don't think I'm jumping the gun. I just think I'm ready. You know, when I was a kid, I mean, I would always go fight with the best guys, wrestle with the best guys, do jiu-jitsu with the best guys. I would even spar some of the best guys in the UFC at the time, you know, since I was 18. So I felt, obviously, I was always a little behind, but I always kind of had that experience. And I mean, we do cage rounds, 3 5 minutes with the whole gym packed with 100 people in the gym at sometimes watching. So I felt like those could be my amateur fights, you know, and I'm trying to get paid. I put my life on the line, my body on the line when I was wrestling, and I got paid good money for it. And I'm already taking a pay cut, switching to MMA in the beginning. And yeah, I'm trying to get paid while I can and as much as I can. I don't feel like the risk versus reward for amateur it just wasn't there for me.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's yeah, totally understand that. And before we get into the fight, we got to talk about that coffee. How good is that coffee? And what's the flavor of the coffee we got going today?
Right now we got some vanilla bean creme brulee, and I put a little cinnamon in there. Then I mix it with a little half and half. You know, I do live in Florida, but I am from Jersey, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you know, we're hitting coffees and espressos, so it's something that I hold close to my heart.
hmm what inspired the move from New Jersey to Florida? Like, why Florida out of all places?
You know, I've always kind of been in the Florida MMA scene when I was a kid. You know Steve Mako? He's one of the head wrestling coaches. He's the head wrestling coach at American Top Team.
hmm
I used to come down since I was like 19 every once in a while and train down here at ATT. So I was familiar with Coconut Creek. I have a business partner. He does some media. He shot media with Kayla Harrison before her last PFL title. So we were kind of spending time down here. And then my buddy Asim Zaidi actually opened up a gym. It's an up-and-coming gym called the Goat Shed Academy. You see a lot of guys on the regional scene right now fighting there. And I used to train with him in New York City at Henzo Gracie Academy under John Donaher. So we kind of already had the same systems, and he was paying me to come out to be a coach to teach his fighters wrestling. And then I was kind of figuring out what I was going to do. COVID hit, and training got a little sketchy up in New York City and in Jersey. You know, I wasn't sure if it was real, what it was, kind of like the same boat that everyone was in. So I kind of just trained with one guy out there, and it was good. But I felt like I had to get away down to the Sunshine State. Like I'm a lot happier here. I feel like the money's better, the taxes are better, everything's open. So I feel like a lot more freedom than in Jersey. And obviously the weather's better. And I'm a big beach guy. I grew up in Toms River, New Jersey. So I love the beach. And being able to go to the beach in December and March is a blessing. And I feel like the happier I am, I already know I'm going to be a good fighter. So my main focus was just to be happy. And the happier that I am, I feel like the better that I could perform. So that was part of the reason.
hmm Now, I believe former UFC champion Frankie Edgar's from Tom's River, New Jersey. Was he like one of your inspirations from over there?
Yeah, so I actually went to the same high school as Frankie, Tom's of Reese. That's actually when I decided that I wanted to do a career in MMA. Was we filled up the auditorium in high school and watched Frankie Edgar beat BJ Penn. It was like
Wow.
my first couple weeks of high school. We watched him win the title, and then he came back and had a parade. And I would watch like Chuck Liddell, Forrest Griffin, all those guys, but to have someone close to home like that come fight and win a world championship, I was kind of like, hey, Dad, I think this is what I want to do. So since I was 14, man, I kind of mapped it out. Hey, I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to give myself an Olympic run, try it, and then bang, transition to MMA. And it just happened sooner than I would have thought, you know?
hmm So like you went to the same high school as Frankie Edgar, then you went to the same college as Colby Covington and John Jones, I believe, at Iowa Central. Were you there around the same time that they were?
No, so they weren't around. I actually used to come down to American Top Team and train with Colby though. But they also have some hitters, Phil Hawes, Cain Velasquez, Carrington Banks. A lot of reputable guys come out of there. I have a lot of arguments with the Oklahoma State guys. When I used to go to AKA, that Iowa Central was a better MMA feeder than Oklahoma State.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then, talking about the Goat Shed Academy as well, they have a great team of prospects over there. They have the Law of the Goats documentary coming out soon. What is it like for you to like kind of like be in the spotlight, at such a early stage in your MMA career?
I think it's an awesome opportunity, man. I think that I'm jumping on a rocket ship and I'm ready to go. Mentally prepared myself. I took a year off from my transition from wrestling until I transitioned to MMA and kind of just plotted everything out, put my business in order, got very comfortable with my hands and yeah, I mean I'm just ready for as quick as it comes.
hmm And let's say like in a few years, a documentary, like maybe even a movie comes out about you. Like, what would the title of that movie be?
I don't know, man, but I know it'd be fucking nuts. We actually are. I actually I do a lot of media for some companies, and I have one of my best friends follow me. He's with me every day. He's one of my coaches, and when he's not coaching, he's filming because we know what's coming, you know.
hmm Not to put you on the spot, but like if you had to have a celebrity actor to play you in that movie, who would it be?
Uh, if it was slightly comedic, I'd have Marky Mark.
Good choice, man. Good choice.
Yeah, if it was more serious, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
hmm And
Go with
with the goats.
Denzel. I'd go with Denzel, but I don't know if that matched too well, you know.
Nice. And with the Goat Shed Academy, a lot of prospects, like I just said. Who are some of your main training partners in there?
So actually, one of my ex-rivals in junior college, Johansi Mejias, he beat me in the national finals my freshman year, and we've had battles ever since. He's one of my main training partners. He's 2-0 amateur. Ryan Kuz, 2-0 pro. Um, Mike Perry will pop in the room. Asim Zaidi is the coach who I'll roll with. We got Nation Gilbrick. He was 2-1 Bellator, 2-0 LFA. Just a lot of prospects. Fight God. He fought Tyler Diamond on Contender Series when Bob Ross was on it. Just a lot of prospects in and out of the gym, and you never know who will come into the gym. Like one day, Logan Paul will be like, "Hey, I need some sparring partners," you know. So there's a lot of good connections that we have. Hector Lombard's in the gym. You know, it just depends on the day, but consistently, the juniors, the up and comers, me, Johansi Mejias, Lazaro Daron, Nation Gilbert, Ryan Kuz around my weight.
hmm And yeah, I wanted to talk about that situation. I almost forgot about it. Jake Paul. Wait, no, not Jake Paul. Logan Paul. Went to the gym. It was Logan Paul, right? That
Yeah,
went to
Logan.
Goat Shed.
Yeah.
What was that situation like? And like, what was everything like around that? Like, like why he specifically came to your gym?
Yeah, so there's a guy named Milton Supreme who's his boxing coach.
hmm
Awesome's tight with him. I'm pretty tight with him. And I mean, when you're a celebrity like that, you don't want to go into a gym and have everyone like taking pictures and doing this and doing that. So it already was kind of like a safe environment and a friendship environment with Milton. Brought him in, got his rounds, got hard work, and it worked out really well, man. And actually, they're building a good relationship. So hopefully, one day maybe I'll get in that little boxing camp. Maybe get on a Triller fight 3, 4 years from now, you know?
What celebrity would you like to face in the boxing ring?
I don't know, man. I'd have to really think about it. But Canelo's my favorite boxer, but I mean, I'm not near his level.
Gotcha,
I'd,
gotcha.
I'd want to
And
fight a real. I'd want to fight a real boxer. I'd want to cross over and fight a real boxer. I don't think I'd want to fight a celebrity.
mhm. And with Ben Askren facing Jake Paul next month, Ben Askren's one of the best wrestlers to ever step foot inside the MMA cage. How do you like favor his chances against Jake Paul?
Man, Jake Paul's gonna smoke him. For sure. I mean, I'm a realist. A lot of people talk a lot of shit saying that I'm just a wrestler and I can't strike and this and that. I already hear it, like, especially in the Florida MMA community. And it's like, you know what? There's truth to it. It's not wrestling, it's fighting. And it took me a year, 2 years to figure that out. And it took me 2 practices a day just focusing on striking for 6 months to figure that out. A lot of sparring sessions. And I don't think Ben Askren put that time in based on what I can see. And what makes a wrestler, there's different traits that make a good striker. For striking, you got to be more fast twitch, not that slow grab wrestling style, holding on to positions. You got to stick and move in striking. I think you have to have a certain build for it, just like you have to have a certain build for jiu-jitsu, just like you have to have a certain build for MMA. It's all different. And I don't think Ben Askren has the time to make that adjustment, and I don't think he has made it yet. So, yeah, I got my money on Jake Paul.
Hmm. And we've seen a lot of successful wrestlers make the transition over to MMA, like Daniel Cormier, I think former Olympian, Yoel Romero, silver medalist, Greg Gillespie, Henry Cejudo as well. Gold in Olympics. Who do you think the best wrestler in mixed martial arts is?
I'd say like wrestling, pure wrestling. Well,
Yeah, I would
wrestling
say
for
pure
MMA,
wrestling.
because it's different. Wrestling, pure wrestling. I would say obviously Henry Cejudo.
Hmm.
He was leaps and shoulders above everyone. And if you watch 2008 fights in the UFC, and like I said, Chuck Liddell, Forrest Griffin, Tito, and you look at guys now like Khabib, Peter Yan, Henry Cejudo, they have a completely different package, right? Henry
Yeah.
Cejudo won the Olympics in 2008, and he still has the skill set to probably win another Olympic title if he wants to, in my opinion. And that's a very hard thing to do is to be a generational athlete. And I feel like Cejudo has that. So I think that he was definitely the best wrestler to really ever do MMA. As far as
Hmm.
MMA, wrestling for MMA, I'm going to give it to Habib for sure, obviously, because he's a grappler. He's Sambo. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to hold guys down. I think one of the biggest things that stops wrestlers from transitioning is they just focus on boxing and then they think they already can out grapple everyone, so they don't do jiu-jitsu. That's something I
Yeah.
didn't do. I spent 3 years in the blue basement under the number one jiu-jitsu coach in the world, John Donaher, and I went into the first day thinking I was gonna tap out Gordon Ryan. You know what I mean? I had the juniors tap me out. I was like, what is going on here? Like I'm one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I put my time in. But yeah, so there is a big difference.
Hmm. And going back to the Henry Cejudo, after he got the gold in the Olympics, I believe he retired from wrestling, then made a transition over to MMA. Was there like a temptation for you to stay in wrestling and reach your, like, I guess, full potential over there rather than
There
going
was,
to MMA?
there was. I was ranked fifth on the ladder. I took fourth in the World Team Trials, and I had a really bad injury that I sustained when I won the U23 World Championships. I kind of never let it heal, and I was competing, on one wheel, and I still did good. Obviously, after I won the World Championships, I still was top five in the country. But I realized what I had to do to make that Olympic team, and I didn't know if it was going to happen in 2020, now 2021. So I was like, do I want to dedicate 6 years to this, or do I want to make my transition to MMA? And that's always been my ultimate goal. So it was an easy decision for me. I sat the year out, and then, bam, now here I am.
Hmm. And like with yourself adding weapons to the arsenal in the striking departments, is there like a certain discipline that you like most about striking? Is it like taekwondo, karate, boxing? Like, what's your favorite discipline when it comes to MMA striking?
So I mean, I like all the disciplines. I am a complete freestyle fighter, just like I'm a complete freestyle wrestler. I think in different ranges. When I'm close, I like to box. When I'm mid range, I like to kickbox. When I'm far, I like to do karate. It's kind of like how it is. And I feel like if I want to be the best in the world, I have to be very very sharp in a few things and very very good at the others.
Hmm. And you're taking on Danny Vega in your MMA debut at Tyne FC 66, I believe, 2 weeks from now. What do you think of him as an opponent going forward?
He's a respectable opponent. Um, I'm not too sure how I'm going to move forward with my opponents. I don't know if I want to talk trash at this point in my career because I feel like I gotta prove something to myself and prove that I should be in there. I'm just looking to perform. I'm not too much focused on what he's doing. I'm more focused on my development, and I'm focused on what I can do and how I can perform and put on a show for the fans.
Hmm. And I saw like in your bio, you like en route to the UFC. UFC has been like kind of, I guess, signing more less experienced talent. You know, they sign guys like Dean Barry, who has like a 3-1 record. A girl like a boxer who's like 1-0 in MMA. Do you think how many years do you think it will take for you to get that shot in the UFC?
So I'll go ahead and I'll win a Titan title over the next 5 to 6 fights, and then I'll sit back with my management team and my coaching staff, and we'll talk and see if I want to go from there. I definitely want to develop more before I go to the UFC, because I know if I went tomorrow, I'd be in there wrestling guys, and I want to be able to be a complete fighter before I step in there. I want to be ready for the top 15 by the time I get my first fight. I want to be ready for a title contention when I'm in the top 15, and I want to be ready to defend the belt 3, 4 times by the time I have it strapped around my waist, you know?
Hmm. Definitely, and there's definitely like multiple ways to get inside the UFC. You have the Ultimate Fighter route, you have the Contender Series route, you have the short notice, flying out like maybe like 1 or 2 weeks notice. What route like would you like to get in the UFC? Like ideally.
I mean, to me, it's so far away. I think on a macro scale, but right now I'm thinking on a super micro scale. You know, I'm just thinking win this foot position for this next practice. I got to win the hand position for this next practice. Ideally, I'd like to get in anyway. Contender Series is cool, just because they give you a pretty good platform. The Ultimate Fighter, I think it's a little bit too much show for me, for that point in my career. And if it's a
Hmm.
short notice fight, it's a short notice fight. I mean, as long as I get into this big show, and get my opportunity.
Hmm. And one final question: what's your Mystic Mac prediction for how March 26th turns out for you?
That boy's going to sleep. His face is getting fucked up.
Awesome, man.
We
Well,
got them elbows, baby.
do you have a round in mind?
If I could put him away in the first, I'm putting away in the first.
Awesome.
But I'm
Well,
ready
thanks
for a
so much.
war. I'm ready for a war as always. Like I said, at this regional level, you don't know what this other guy got. You don't know what
Mhm.
anyone has. You don't know what day it is. I'm ready for a war always.
Gotcha. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans out there watching?
Thank you for the support. I couldn't do this without y'all. Tune in March 26th. Watch that Mystic Rich, baby.
Awesome. Thanks so much for the time, Richie. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.